2002, we started going to war in Afghanistan, and this whole concept of war on terror, was presented to us in the news media. It made us afraid. It tried to give us something to focus on. To me, it was a diversion. There was this whole propaganda of Iraq, and them having weapons of mass destruction, and this story that was put together explaining, basically it was this fake uranium that came from Nigeria. This letter, not fake, it was a letter that ended up being a fake that came from Nigeria, that ended up in Italy, that was the main tool that was used to actually go to war in Iraq. It was all hoopla. It was propaganda. It wasn't real. And the people who tried to step forward and say it wasn't real ended up getting severe repercussions. And that's also in the grid. Here's one of I call him my American hero, Wilson, and his wife Valerie. He tried very hard to explain that, this Italian letter, that's what they call it, basically there was no weapons of mass destruction, that the whole propaganda behind going to war in Iraq was not real. And one of the things that was major that happened in 2002 was Bush presented a new program called Blueprint for the American Dream. This was a program to get 5.5 million people into new homes. 5.5 million people into brand new homes. They targeted, marketed blacks. They targeted, marketed Hispanic. And they marketed faith-based poor communities. And it ended up becoming this fiasco of people who didn't really qualify for new homes to be getting new homes. It was wonderful. It was a dream. We all got hooked into it. It was like Candyland, because we had credit thrown at us. Money was given to us. Of course, we had to pay it back. We had to pay, some higher interest rates, especially if we didn't really qualify. But when it ended up happening was a lot of these people lost their homes. And when all these people started losing their homes, people were losing, people lost their jobs. It just, to me what this was icing on the cake. We weren't looking at the cake, we were looking at the icing. What was going on is they were going to war in Iraq. They were preparing to go to war in Iraq. And it was a diversion for the American people. There's so much more that happened. But, we're hit with Homeland Security. We're constantly being projected with fear. Be afraid. Tell on your neighbor. You suspect suspicious activity. Somebody looks like they're doing something that's not right. Tell on them. Big Brother is watching. Video cameras everywhere. We were, the Patriot Act started. I was afraid to say something in my own house for a while. I'd find I would, if I wanted to say something that I thought I could get in trouble for, I'd write it on a piece of paper. And pass it over to my husband. We were constantly being projected with fear. Everything was lots of propaganda about patriotism, about security, weapons of mass destruction. I'm going to put this down and go to the next one.